with Zach Black at Bike Station Aptos, Aptos, California. And that's my Stromer ST2 on the stand right there. And today we are going to install a StaFast suspension stem. This is the box that it comes in. I don't know if there's retail on this product as of yet, but it comes packaged very, very nicely. And when you open the box, this is a step-by-step procedure, and this is also online, so you can look at this. It's very straightforward. I would say if you have basic mechanical skills, you should be able to do this. There are a couple of tips, and I'm going to put them in my written evaluation for you. But these are the steps to install the stem, and it's actually quite quick. They say about maybe 20 minutes at most. This is the stem itself. I'm going to take it out so that you can see it. This is an air suspension stem. This cartridge, there's two things to know about this. It has about 25 degrees of angle. It ships at the 25 degree set mark, but you can take the air out of the air shock, and there is a spanner, which is this tool right here, and this is used to raise and lower the stem. So if you want your stem lower, or if you want it higher for greater comfort, it is adjustable. They do ship it from the factory at the maximum angle of 25 degrees. In addition to that, this portion, the stem and the base, and let me get my notes here so I make sure that I'm giving you the right information, is from forged aircraft aluminum grade, 6160. So very durable, very strong, and its fit and finish on this is beautiful. It's very, very nice to look at. The cartridge is made from 6067 CNC'd aluminum. So you've got very good quality work here. I've looked at this closely. The fit and finish and the tolerances on this are very, very, very nicely made. This stem also comes with a, this is a kind of a custom nut. Interesting shape on it, but we're going to install that so we can see what that looks like. Oh, yeah, oh, it fits in that hole. Thank you, Zach.
That's the compression nut, so you can make your headset bearing adjustment.
Great, fantastic. And then it also comes with this very nice air pump. So the cap to remove that you need to remove in order to put air in is at the bottom. This goes up to about 275 psi, from 0 to 275 psi. There is a chart on their site for the type of riding that you do, with recommendations for pressure, for how much air pressure to put in. My best guess is, since it's fairly straightforward to put air in or take air out, that you should experiment. Some people will want a firm ride, some will want a very soft ride. It depends upon the kind of riding that you're going to be doing. For example, on my Stromer, this is primarily a street bike. So I'm going to want it fairly stiff. I don't want to have a lot of flex, but it's a matter of personal preference. And I will tell you that the travel on this stem is 25 to 30 millimeters. So it is not a replacement for a full suspension fork, but if you have a bike that has no front suspension and you need to take the peaks off of those sharp jolts that happen when you have a rough surface, I think this might be something that you should look at. I will provide a in-depth written analysis of the product. I'm also going to leave the bike here after it's done, and I'm going to allow all of the people who work here, plus a couple of friends of mine, to be able to ride this bike, and I'm going to try and gather their impressions on the product so that you'll get a really good idea of what people think about it. All right, we'll talk to you in a little bit as we begin to remove the stem and install this one. We'll come back to you after the stem is in place. Thanks. Hi, we're back. We've removed the stem from the Stromer, and it's we put it on a scale. It's 269 grams, and we weighed the StaFast stem, and it's 364 grams. Don't quote me, but I'll give you the exact figure in the written review. So it looks like the difference is about 3.5 ounces. So you are adding suspension to your bike with a penalty of 3.5 ounces, which is just fantastic. So in an e-bike, particularly one as powerful as the Stromer, you probably won't even notice the difference at all. So we'll be back. As you can see here, Zach is working away. He's got the old stem off. We're just prepping it to put the new stem on, and we'll be back in a little bit when the new stem is about to go on. Thanks. So we've got the old stem off completely, and we had to remove these. What do you call these, Zach?
Those are parts of a compression plug.
Parts of a compression plug, and they're designed like this because this is a carbon fork.
Yep.
Yep. And what?
So inside of a carbon fork, you're essentially installing a threaded nut, and we're putting that in so that we can make a bearing adjustment to the bearing that's in the top of the head tube and the bottom of the head tube.
Okay.
Without that, we can't make an adjustment, and we'll end up with a loose headset. So on a carbon steerer like the Stromer has here, we can't install a star nut, which is what we typically use in a steer tube with a metal or in a fork with a metal steer tube. So what we have to do is we have to put a compression nut in. So for this stem to be installed, we need to be able to thread in a 6mm bolt to that half moon shaped top cap.
Which I think is over. We've got it somewhere. Okay.
There's right here. So this is our compression top cap, which has a 6mm bolt on it. And what came out was the original Stromer top cap is clearly not a standard 6mm bolt.
And how difficult is it to find one of these?
Any bike shop that deals with carbon fiber bikes should have compression plugs in stock.
Okay.
And this is a particularly small diameter, so we're using a profile design compression plug that has a standard 6mm bolt. So
Okay.
we can take this top cap off and use the supplied top cap.
Thank you. And we have our StaFast suspension stem that is mounted. There's a couple of issues during the installation. The first one is this clamp here is different than the clamp on the Stromer. The Stromer has actually some grooves machined on the underside of the clamp to allow for the mounting of this supernova light. So we've temporarily mounted it with some zip ties on the handlebar, but we can get a handlebar mount from Supernova specifically for this light that'll look a little cleaner, and that's not a problem. This is what the stem looks like on the bike. It's got a nice clean look to it. It really does not, in my opinion, destroy the aesthetics of the bike at all. It looks very, very cool. I'm probably going to get a lot of questions on what is that. Installation took us about 45 minutes. The biggest issue that we had was we had to fish out those, Zach help me out here,
The compression plug pieces.
the compression plug pieces that we did not use. We also had to have a different
compression plug
because
that has a 6mm bolt for the specific top plate for the StaFast.
okay, and the one from Stromer was a little large.
The one from Stromer, was specific to the Stromer top cap.
And how difficult is it to get a properly sized?
Not difficult. Any shop that deals with carbon fiber bikes should have a variety of compression nuts for different applications.
Okay, so that shouldn't be a problem. I know you had one in stock and it was not an issue.
Yeah, we use the profile designs, their universal gap cap. This guy here.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. So we had to replace that cap, the compression cap, compression plug, and we could not mount this underneath these clamps because we were crushing the mount on this light. so we can order a mount for this supernova light. Okay, so looks pretty cool. We're just about ready to wrap it up. We're going to go out and take it for a test ride. We're going to put some air in it, or at least we're going to check the amount of air. The owner of the company recommended that we start with 150 psi, but we'll do some experimentation. We'll let a lot of people ride the bike, and then I'll come back with my opinions on what worked for me as a guideline. So thanks, and we'll see you in a little while.